Hi, 304. This is going to be my kind of introductory video introducing 304 and what I kind of anticipate is going to be happening in the first couple weeks of class, since right now we are online because of Omicron. So I'm going to talk about what I think is going to happen. I'm going to talk about the class structure generally, some things you need to know. And then also just generally go over the structure of the class on career courses so that you're feeling better about being online for a few weeks. And then I will talk about some important policies when we do go back into person. So that's just generally my plan today, is to try to alleviate a lot of your stress relating to this class specifically, but also just to know that we're going to kind of get through this together. It's a little unusual to be starting an in-person class online, but we live in unusual times. Global pandemic. I am at home. This is a lot of you I know are taking other classes with me. And so you might know that I moved very fast and unexpectedly in the fall. And this is like literally like the nicest part of my house. My office was a closet. I've gotten out of the closet and now I'm in this weird addition to my house that's falling apart. But it's not really the nicest background. So this is the nicest background I could pick with the best lighting. During the pandemic, I've also adopted 2 dogs. So if you hear barking or if I get up unexpectedly and start yelling, I am yelling at my Doberman and German Shepherd. I'm also going to be getting 2 pigs in 2 weeks. So you might be seeing some pictures and some videos of Rocky and Wilma, who are going to come living with us out in our little 3-acre farm that we're building out here. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and kind of get started with the schedule, the anticipated schedule. Okay, so I'm recording this the Thursday before class starts. I wanted to wait as much time so I could have as much kind of guidance about what I think is going to be happening, because it's been hard for the administration and for us and for everybody, because guidance is constantly changing. Like, what kind of masks are we supposed to be wearing? What, like, are you supposed to mix and match your vaccines? All of that. So as far as I know, recording this just a few days before this semester starts. The semester is going to start on January 24th, which is a Monday. So if you were watching this, we are online. It is sometime in that week, and we are online. So our 304 is opening on January 24th, and then the next week will be January 31st, and then kind of segueing into the first week of February. Those 2 weeks will be totally online. My first week is just syllabus week. So January 24th, you're watching this in the first week, hopefully, just totally online. This video, introduce yourself online, read the syllabus, check out the free textbooks that I have linked, check out the assignments that we're going to be working on throughout the semester. That's it for syllabus week. Regular syllabus week, fairly easy, easing you back into kind of being in that kind of student mindset. I'm going to have 3 office hours to kind of support you this week. So Monday the 24th, Wednesday the 26th, and Friday the 28th. From 9 to 10 on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. The Zoom links are already up on career courses for our first week. So every week on career courses, I'll release kind of like, this is what we're going to be learning about. And I'll also kind of give you a to-do list. So if you've ever taken a class with me online, this is what I do. I kind of tell you this week, this is what you have to do. So for this week, I have my office hour links already up, and you're introducing yourself and you're just kind of familiarizing yourself with the class, easy peasy. Please drop into office hours. I will be there for an hour, Monday, Wednesday, and Friday from 9 to 10. It's a great opportunity just to say hi, ask any questions, get support. You know, if you're a student athlete, please drop by, tell me what's going on. I feel for you student athletes who have had to kind of navigate this while also trying to do your athletics, which must be challenging in COVID. So just anything that you need me to know, accommodations, anything like that, please drop in and say hi, let me know. The week after that will be a totally new lecture. I've never done this in 304 before, but I'm a history buff, and so we are going to go so old school. We go back to ancient history. We're going to look at how different societies and cultures have always kind of looked at adulthood in old age, because we have a lot of stereotypes in the United States, but all over the world about kind of older adults. Are they, infirm and they don't know anything, or are they full of wisdom? Like, we kind of have contradictory stereotypes about what that is. So we're going to throw it back and we're going to kind of look at maybe how some of these stereotypes and ideas have started to evolve. That's a lecture I've been working on for a couple of years now, so I'm going to pre-record that, shoot it up on career courses. So you guys will have that for next week, and we'll kind of look at that. Then hopefully the week after that will be Monday the 7th, the week of Monday the 7th. And so we will hopefully, fingers crossed, who knows what's going to happen with the Omicron and all of that, we will be back in person. I hope so. If anything changes, I will let you guys know immediately. I'll put an announcement or an email out so that you guys know what's happening as far as my class. But that is what I'm planning is these first 2 weeks will be asynchronous. You'll have to-do lists. You'll be supported in what you're doing online. And then we will jump into in person. You'll see me. I'll see you. We will work like we would traditionally in a traditional lecture-based class. What I'm going to do right now is I'm going to share my screen with my syllabus because I want to just go over some of the things that might be happening as we kind of segue back into in person. As of right now, I believe that I'm going to keep my office hours in person, online, on Zoom. I just, at this point, with Omicron and everything like that, and with my own health and with my parents' health, we're very cautious. So I'm most likely going to be keeping my office hours online. I think they're going to be Wednesdays for 2 hours. I'm not exactly sure at this point. We will see how that will all shake out. I will have regular office hours though. There's my email. Email me whenever you want. I keep regular business hours Monday through Friday. I check my email 3 times a day usually. I'm pretty responsive during the week. I'm trying to get your questions answered. If you emailed me and I see it 1 minute later, I will respond right away. I don't want to keep you guys waiting. I know that many of you don't keep regular business hours, and that's fine. You can email me a Saturday night at midnight. I get a lot of those. Just know that you're not going to get a response Monday. So if you start working on your paper that's due Monday night and it's Saturday night, you're not going to get a response from me. That's part of kind of the student life, is checking out the things that we're due and doing them before, or at least asking a question about it before we kind of got to the point where somebody's not available to help you. I'm not a bot. I'm not around all the time to answer your questions, but I am around Monday through Friday during normal business hours where I'm checking my email a few times a day in order to get back to you. All right, my Corona times policy. So this is kind of applying when we are going back into the classroom starting the week of February 7th. If you're sick, don't come to class. Just straight up, I don't care why you have allergies, you have a cold, you have Corona, I don't care, don't come to class. Get the notes from a classmate and do the assigned work online. So all of your work will be turned in online. So it's not like you ever have to see me to turn in work. So your readings, your homework, your papers, posters, even your group project will all be submitted to me online. So in that case, it's going to be nice that we'll be in person, but you always have that option. I won't have all of the lectures up online because I'm going to be teaching in person. So get those notes from a classmate. If you test and you're negative for COVID, but you're still sick and you're still not feeling good, don't come to class. I still want you to rest. I want you to recover. I want you to feel better. And then you can come back to class. I don't care if you don't have coronavirus. If you're still sick, if you're still not okay, please don't come to class. Please take care of yourself. If you're testing you're positive, please let the campus know and follow their instructions. No Rona shame here, no COVID shame. People get it. Omicron is like so highly contagious. We probably have already gotten a lot of us asymptomatic, which is why it's catching on like wildfire. So I don't care if you've had it. I'm not going to shame you for if you've got it. I know a lot of people have kind of felt that way just in the world over the last couple of years, that there's kind of been this feeling that you did something wrong if you got it. That's not for me. This class on community health and public health and how it kind of intersects with development. You're not going to get any of that from me. The most important thing, if you have coronavirus, is to take care of yourself and get better. That's all I care about is if you're sick, you take care of yourself and you get better. We have lots of services from the university and the community to assist you in getting better. The campus needs to know, because they don't put your name out, but they put an email out saying that there was exposure in like the quad or in University Hall 100 or something like that, just so that the community knows where kind of the infections were. And that's public health, kind of preventative health epidemiology 101. Been getting those emails for 2 years now about where kind of COVID cases have been happening. They don't put your name anywhere on it. And then they try to notify everybody who would have been in close contact with that person. So if you did go to like a professor's office hours that were in person, then that professor would need to be notified that a student that they came in contact with had COVID. So everything is very anonymous, but they're also trying to keep these places extra sanitized, and they're doing more with our HVAC and our air purification. So it's important that as we can, we are testing. We have testing services on Cal State, and you should also get those kind of 4 free ones from the government that you can order. So as we transition back into online testing and keeping ourselves safe and other people safe by staying at home when we're sick is going to be really, really important. So my last kind of Corona times policy is if I'm sick or my family is sick, I'm going to email the class and put an announcement up on Cougar courses that class is canceled so that you don't have to come to campus. I don't want you paying for parking or getting on the bus or the train or anything like that. I pay for parking too, so I know just how exasperating it is to come to campus when you don't have to. You've paid that parking permit when you don't have to. So I will, as soon as I know, I will put those up. I'll also let Dr. Soriano, our department chair, know, of course. But I will also, even, if I know at 11 o'clock at night that one of my kids has come down with the sniffles and a fever, and that we're all going to be testing and something's going to hide, I don't want to teach the next morning, I will put that announcement up right away, and I will email the entire class as well so that you are not prepared to come to class. In that case, kind of, if I'm sick, everything will shift back onto kind of online. So I won't cancel assignments, readings, papers, unless something really big happens. So if I'm just handling a normal kind of sickness, or unfortunately my kids being exposed at their public school has become very, very common. So I'm really hesitant to kind of cancel anything or change anything. It'll just kind of be a canceled in lecture, and then all of the work that would be online, like your homework or your readings or your papers, would still come due. I still want you to turn those in so I can still grade them at home and get those back to you. I don't want to keep kicking the can, as it were, towards the end of the semester, and we haven't turned anything in because we keep getting sick and you keep getting sick and I keep getting sick. This is my worst case scenario, is that's what's going to happen. I'm hoping that we're all in perfect health all semester, but I also want to be prepared if Corona, it gets worse, or Omicron, and we're still in person. Don't come to class if you're sick. Let the campus know if you have tested positive. And then if I get sick, I will communicate with you guys throughout. That's kind of like the biggest thing that I really kind of wanted to harp for you guys, is how we're going to protect each other over the next couple of weeks when we go back in. So we have quite a few assignments. So I'm going to go over them just briefly. So each week I'm going to give you a weekly assignment. It's typically a reading or discussion forum post. That's it. You read something, I ask you a question, you respond to the question. Easy peasy, they're 10 points. People have taken my class are like, yeah, I know, I got this. If you haven't ever, I know in online kind of situations or in the last couple of years, if I don't assign points to something, you won't. So I'll say read chapter 10 in the textbook and nobody will do it unless I say, hey, on chapter 10, the theorist said this, what do you think about it? So they're typically fairly open-ended. There's not always a right and wrong answer. Sometimes there is, like if I'm, asking, about a specific theory, there might, or about the precede-proceed model, there might be a right answer, but more often than not, I'm asking for your own reflection, your own thoughts, and your own critical analysis of that kind of reading. And so I'm kind of looking for you to kind of start thinking about it. So that's what it is. The first week homework, I'll definitely read. If you're struggling, you kind of missed it, I'll say, hey, this is what, this is typically what I'm looking for in these kind of online assignments, and I'll give you the chance to redo it for full points. I don't want to dock anybody, but for the most part, everybody is getting those 100 points as long as you submit it and you kind of put in your best effort towards answering my question or thinking on the reading or posting something in the forum, then you're going to get those 100 points spread over 10 weeks. So this is like easy homework, just so that I can make sure that you are doing the reading that you should be doing, so that we are prepared to either talk in class or that if we are online at various points throughout the semester because of Corona, also this will help you actually make sure that you're kind of at the very end, we'll have an online final exam, multiple choice, true, false, very easy. We'll have a review the week before. You can either come in person or you can do it online. And then at the very end, we'll have a paper and poster that you're going to present. So as a group, you're going to write a paper, and as a group, you're going to make a poster and kind of show us the poster and talk about your idea. Totally online though. The presentation will be online, the paper and the poster will be online. I think that will be an easier way. I'm just still kind of worst case scenario. We're in and out of classes. People are sick in and out of classes. Maybe our group might not always be there for every class, like we might assume in a lecture. And because it's very important to me that if you're sick, you stay home. So we'll be doing the work in person, but when you present it, it will be online. We're very good at Zoom and breakout groups as well. So you can get together with your group outside by email or by Zoom as well to figure this out. There's an outline of expectations, and then I will go very, 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 very much in detail into this once we get back into class. Either in traditional lecture based where you see me face to face and you can raise your hand and you can talk through it. We'll also have time for groups. If we were to go back online, we would be doing it by breakout groups, and I would be coaching your groups through this as well. So it's not like it's due May 5th, I believe. So you have an entire semester to work on it. I'm going to be there step by step. You're out to support you and hold your hand as you kind of do this larger paper and poster. And then an interview. I love interviews. If I do observations, typically you have to observe a child, you have to interview a teenager, a family member. So in this case, you're going to interview somebody in your life who's over the age of 40. I have step-by-step instructions already on Google courses that I will show you as well. And then we will discuss it more once we get back into class as well. But just basically, you're going to have 20 questions. You're going to go safely interview somebody outside or on the phone or on Zoom. And then you're going to tell me about their developmental stage and age-related changes happening to them. So you're going to be kind of using an older person in your life as a way to kind of get experience or to be able to conceptualize older adults. So it's anybody over the age of 40. So worst case scenario, you could always interview me, but you can interview grandmas, aunts, uncles, your boss, anybody. Maybe not harp on the fact that it's an adulthood and older adulthood. Most people don't like to be called old, but just say, for a class, I'm wanting to interview somebody who's in their adulthood and talk about their experiences. You come up with 20 questions, but the interview will be very open-ended. I want you to kind of have a discussion with this person. Also keep in mind, if you are interviewing somebody that's close to you, a boss or a family member, don't ask questions that you don't want to know the answers about. So if you don't want to hear about grandma's sex life, don't ask grandma questions about sex. Ask the questions that you would like to know about. And ask things that they might not be offended that you are asking about. I'm not sure that most grandmas want to have a discussion about their grandchildren or their great-grandchildren or their children. So be cognizant of who you are interviewing and the things you want to know. You don't have to get nitty gritty, super intimate if that is not what that person wants. To the extent that the person you're interviewing is comfortable with the interview and the questions you're asking, because I'm going to be asking about Piaget, Erikson, age-related changes in Brofenberger. You could probably do that with questions that are not super intimate. Not everybody's family member and people in their lives want to be super intimate in these types of interviews, and that is totally fine. We are kind of respecting the confidentiality and respecting the kind of wishes of the person who we're interviewing. We'll talk more about this in person as well. I will show you on Career Course, I already have step-by-step instructions for the paper, poster, and interview. So it's kind of 4 larger things. So each week for the first 10 weeks of class, you're going to be doing some kind of reading and responding to a question or a thought-provoking kind of prompt. At the very end, we're going to have a super easy online final exam, which is, it's going to be totally easy. Don't worry about it. Always multiple choice and true and false. I don't even do fill in the blank anymore. Career Course is can't handle that. It's just too hard for them to figure out fill in the blank. So it's just true, false, multiple choice. And then the paper poster, which you'll be doing as groups in person, and then also presenting it online, just in case people are sick and things like that. And then the interviews. It all kind of goes out to 300 points. Sorry. I've got all of my normal boilerplate, which you should be reading about, plagiarism, ADA, code of conduct. Please read the syllabus, it is important. This is my tentative course schedule, just about the things that we're going to be learning. So you can see the first week is going to be online, where we're just kind of talking about this class. Next week is actually not going to be physical development in adulthood, so I'm going to change that. This is going to be historical perspectives on adulthood. And then hopefully for the third week, we'll be back in person, and I will jump into kind of traditional lectures with traditional large group work, spaced out group work, 6 feet apart group work, discussions. It'll be interesting to kind of see how we will play that out once we get back into person, because your safety is paramount to me and my safety is paramount to me. This is the paper and poster kind of outline that you guys will be working on. I also have a sample poster that's a great example of a poster that you can create and then present on. I've got some rubrics. I've got some interview things as well. We're more going to discuss this in person because they are not due until the paper poster isn't due until May, and the interview isn't due to the end of February. Right now I'm going to jump to career courses. So that was the syllabus. The syllabus is up on career courses. Please download it or print it and actually read it, because there's important information about kind of trigger warnings for the class, the schedule, some outlines for assignments. So that will be important for you to have. This is the class as I have it kind of structured on career courses, which you obviously would know if you're watching this video. So I am teaching 2 304s. I'm teaching one on Thursday evenings and one like at midday on Fridays. I like to combine all of my 304s and all of my 302s, 303s, or 304s into one kind of grade shell. That really helps me simplify my grading. It helps you in that when you need help, you can just say, hey, Jolie, I'm in your 304. And I know that you will be in this class. You don't have to tell me I'm in class code 21187. You can just tell me that you're in this class and I will come and look. This really helps me because I teach the same structure. Because when we are back in lecture, each group will have their own dynamic, but when it comes to what I'm grading for you and what I'm going to be lecturing on, that will be the same. So I have a similar shell for both classes. So both of you that are in the same class, different classes, are going to have one online portal, because I'll always be teaching the same topics every week, although each class will have a different dynamic once we get back into person. So first week is introductions. You guys are already here. So this is what each week will kind of look like. I will give you some kind of like, hey, this week we're learning about, sexuality in older adults. And I might put a quote up, or I might give you a statistic or an additional reading or a TED talk or something that I think is interesting about that topic that we'll be learning about for that week. Then I'll always give you a to-do list when we're online as well. So you're watching the welcome video. These are my Zoom hours that you can just drop by and see me one-on-one on Zoom. I've got the syllabus that's down here. This is your introduce yourself post. So it's 10 points and it's due by next week. Email me. So I've always got kind of a to-do list for you guys as well. I will try to also keep that up throughout the year, the semester, even when we're in person. I'll try to open it and release it and kind of have a to-do list. Just so you kind of, as we navigate being online, being in person in a global pandemic, I'm trying to keep it as organized as possible for you guys. I know it's been really hard as students to kind of keep on top of things. So I'm going to try to have as much as I can a career courses portal for you guys that is well organized and the same and helpful for you with resources about what we're going to be learning about, so that you can, if you are sick, You have a little bit online. It's not going to be the same as being in person. You'll have to get the notes from somebody who was in class. But I'll try to kind of get more information. The assignments will still be up, the readings, so that if you are absent, you can still turn things in, know what we were talking about just very generally, and then supplement it with the notes from that person. That is my plan right now. We're all in this together. We're all going to work through this together. I have not been on campus yet. I'm still at home. I've not set foot on any campus since March 14th, 2020. So I'm in the same boat with you guys as trying to take the guidance from our local, state, and federal governments and the CSU administrators and put it into something that works for us. So I'm kind of the middleman. I'm trying to make this as easy and as organized and the best experience that I can in a global pandemic. So I do try to keep it a little bit fun. I try to put Kahoot quizzes up and things like that to support you in person and then also online. So if I create one for the class, lecture-based class, I'll also put it on Google Courses. So you could take it at like different times as well if you wanted to just support your learning that way. I always create a Spotify playlist for the classes that I'm teaching as just something that I listen to or add songs to throughout the year. So this one, my Spotify playlist is for this 304. So it's kind of about adulthood, becoming parents yourself, growing your family, death and dying, grieving for somebody as well. So if you want to, if you're a music lover, just check out my Spotify playlist. If you have any song recommendations, I would love to hear them. Just shoot me an email with a great song that's kind of about adulthood and the sandwich generation, having young kids and older adults and helping people in your family. And then your kind of passage through adulthood into old age, our age-related changes, and then death and dying. We're going to learn about a lot. There's a lot in there. So I like to have Spotify playlists that kind of reinforce those kind of ideas. There's a great one by Babyface. I don't know, students are always young. You probably don't need, like, Babyface is probably in the 90s, like is before many of you were born or you were very young, but he was like this very good looking man from the 90s who recorded under the name Babyface, but he has this beautiful song about becoming a father for the first time. And that's a big part of what we're going to be learning about is kind of the passage from, we in 303, we've learned about emerging adulthood, but now we're firmly adults. Many of us are building our own families while also having our family of origin, our parents, and things like that also in their life. So I have some really great and beautiful songs about becoming a parent for the first time, about parenting your parents, things like that. So please check it out. It's just for fun. There's no points. I just like to share my kind of musical recommendations. If you've got your own songs that you want me to add or you think that I would love, tell me. If you think I have the worst musical taste ever, sorry, don't email me that. Okay, so that's the first week. You can see that I've kind of built out everything for the rest of the semester. It's not published to you because we haven't gotten there yet, but I have built out kind of what we're going to be learning about. I've also kind of have sections for those two bigger assignments. So I have the interview for you guys. It's due February 24th. And then I have step-by-step instructions about like keeping that person safe, questions that you're going to be writing, and then how you're going to take your interview and you're going to write up at the very end about Erikson, Piaget, Brockenbrenner, and age-related. So we have a couple of weeks until that's due. So my hope is we'd be back in person on the 7th, and I would be able to step-by-step be able to kind of talk with you about the interview. If not, it's already kind of written out, and then I would talk a little bit more about it. So textbooks, these are our textbooks. You don't ever buy textbooks in my classes. I had to buy, my husband went to UCSD and was a human biology major, and I supported him in his last year at UCSD. And the last year I had to spend $800. This was in like 2004. I had to spend like close to $900 on textbooks for him. And that's when I told him that was going to be his last semester that I was going to be supporting him. And that's what I really kind of got. I never thought I would be a professor, but here I am. And like that experience has supported me in taking all of my classes zero textbooks. I don't ever want people to be in that kind of situation where, you know, that was, as somebody who was working for a nonprofit, I was actually working in sober services with children and families, making $14 an hour with a graduate degree, spending $900, almost $900 on textbooks, in addition to parking fees and all of the classes and things like that. Was really, really hard on me financially. I don't want people to feel that financial strain. So this is what I can do. This is in my sphere of control, is that you don't buy. So here is I've got a life development text. So this has information at the very end about adulthood and older adulthood and dying. This is the precede proceed model text that we've been using in 302. Or it comes from Community Playthings. They've given me explicit permission to share the specific section with you. So check that out. And then I also have a psych and development text and in that text in the middle we talk about aging and things like that as well, and just kind of human development. So these are 3 really great texts. I might have you read out of them, or they can just be here as a support for you, especially while you're coming up with interview questions, or you're just trying to dip your toe back into school or human development mindset. These are going to be really helpful for you. And then the last thing that will be open this week will be the last thing that will be open but will not be due is your paper and poster. So as you can see, it's due May 5th, so we have a very long time. And in my imagination, we will be back in lecture-based classes, and I will be meeting with groups specifically to talk about this. The overview is that I would like you to come up with an issue that affects adults and older adults. They're very wide open. And then you are going to kind of come up with a solution to it, a community-based solution, using the PPM, the precede proceed model, in order to support you with that. So at the very end, you're going to present a paper and poster online. So you record yourself on Zoom. You'll send me the link. I'll put it up on Google Courses and everybody will watch it that way. Once again, that's my kind of fail-safe. If we are in and out of the classroom, people are sick, how groups can still get this done is that you will just be kind of recording yourself, and I'll be posting those little videos online. So you're going to be telling us about your group paper that you're going to be writing as a group, and then you're also going to be telling us about your poster. I know this sounds probably like a huge thing. It's not. You have a really long time. I'm here to help you in class step by step, and we're going to talk about it more in class as well. And your groups are going to be working together 6 feet apart in class as well. So we're going to I have the presentation. It's open. You'll just get but I'll put your grades in by group. So the group gets the same grade. I don't grade individually. I'm going to go by groups and the effort and ability that you put into that as a group. So you've got the presentation. I've got an outline with kind of what I would do. My dad was recently diagnosed with Parkinson's. That's actually why he moved. He's going to come live out here with me and my mom. So Parkinson's and kind of caregiving has become, in the last couple months, has become a huge part of my life as I learn more about this disease. And I kind of changed my life in order to experience this with my dad and perform caregiving duties for my dad. And so I wrote what I would do. So if I was taking this class and I was having to write a paper and a poster, I would want to do Parkinson's and kind of caregiving. You don't have to. I don't want you to write about what I want. But that's what, as I take on more caregiving duties, in addition to having 3 kids of my own, this is what's interesting and important to me. And that's always what I tell any of my students in any of my classes is write about what you want, what's interesting to you, because then you're going to feel motivated to do it. Don't ever write on what you think your professor wants to know. We don't care. We want to write a good paper. And it's going to be better if it's something you care about. Now you're going to be doing this in a group, but I'm sure as we talk about ideas that you can find something that all of you have some interest in. So this is an example. This is an outline that I wrote about what I would do if I was a student and I had to write the group paper. So this is my example as Parkinson's. How would I take an issue and use the PPM to kind of frame out my response to an issue? And then I have a poster example from students from 2018, 2017. I had both of them in my classes. They were fantastic students and they had a gorgeous poster. In years past, before COVID, this is something that all 304s do. And our 304s actually would write the group paper and then they would print out the poster and then they would go to the library and then they would have to present it, not only to their peers, but to all of the other professors in the department. you guys are lucking out. Not only do you not have to spend like $30 printing out a poster, don't print it, I don't care, it's all online. You also are just presenting in Zoom with no kind of audience. So nobody's coming to pick apart and ask questions. None of your friends are there, which makes you always feel more anxious either. So you're not in the library kind of having to defend your poster. You're just presenting it online. So you guys, that's a 1+ of this global pandemic for my 304s, is that this assignment that all the 304s do, which is kind of the end of your 302, 303, 304 journey, ends in kind of a less socially awkward situation that we have. So for this week, I've opened up week 1 introductions, your interview, your textbooks, your paper poster. So for this first week online, once again, just to recap, is syllabus week. You're introducing yourself, you're getting used to the class online. Next week, I'm going to open up week 2. It is not going to be physical development. I don't think I'm going to, I'm not sure. I might do physical development and historical perspectives because I've been working on this kind of historical perspectives. The lecture is some of my wheelhouse, things that I'm really interested in. So I might just add it, or yeah, we might do 2 topics. I'm not really sure. I don't want to change our schedules too much, but I will open up something. You'll have topics and a pre-recorded lecture next week. You will also have some kind of, I think it's a reading. So you're going to read something and you're going to respond to it as well. So that will get us through week 2, which is online. So we have 2 kind of assignments that we will be doing online. And then you'll just kind of be familiar with how I'm teaching online. For week 3, when we're doing brain development, we will hopefully, fingers crossed, Omicron does not act up and we will be back in person. So I'll either be seeing you Thursday evening or Friday midday. We'll be getting in groups. I'll be lecturing. We'll be doing some socially distanced work from each other as well. I've been ordering supplies and things like that for classes so that we're all as healthy and safe as we can be. That is my number 1 kind of commitment, or the thing that I want to work on most this semester is keeping you guys safe and getting us all through the semester as much as we can, supporting each other in a global pandemic. So I will see you guys more online over the next 2 weeks, and then hopefully in week 3, I will see all of your beautiful faces in person as well. All right. Thanks so much, guys. I'll see you online.